I'm Don McDowell, Outdoors, iHeartMedia, and Fox Sports. This week's roll call, as always, very uncomfortable. We have six fallen LEOs to tell you about. We're going to start with August 7th. We got notification Gene Harold Ostry, Fairburn Police Department in Georgia. His end of watch was July 28th at age 54. And the good sergeant was killed in a four-car crash. He was driving an unmarked police Dodge Charger northbound when it collided with a heavy truck in the southbound lane, and he succumbed to his injuries at the scene. Sergeant Ostry was a United States Air Force Reserve veteran who served with the Fairburn Police Department for over 5 years. He had previously served with the Lovejoy Police Department, Villa Rica Police Department, Atlanta Police Department, and New York City Police Department, and is survived by his wife, 2 sons, and 2 daughters. This next one is pretty interesting. A tragedy as well. Mounted Deputy Nicole Schuff, Clare County Sheriff's Department in Michigan. Her end of watch was Friday, July 29th at age 33. When I say mounted, she was horseback and succumbed to injuries sustained 4 days earlier when the horse she was riding, she fell off as she was responding to a medical call at the Clare County Fair. She was getting off her horse to render aid to a citizen when the horse suddenly lost its footing, fell back. Deputies suffered serious head injuries as a result of that incident. She was kept on life support long enough to harvest her organs to be donated. Deputy Schuff had served as a volunteer deputy with the Clare County Sheriff's Office for 2 years, survived by her husband. Wow. Then we have Police Officer Noah Shnavez, Elwood Police Department in Indiana. His end of watch was July 31st at age 24. He was shot and killed while making a traffic stop at 2 in the morning. The driver of the vehicle he stopped exited his car, opened fire on officer. Before fleeing in his car, the man led other officers on a pursuit, and the subject continued to fire at officers during the pursuit until officers with the Fishers Police Department conducted a pit maneuver. And Officer Noah was transported to a local hospital, then flown to a hospital in Indianapolis where he died of his wounds. The subject who shot him was a convicted felon who had been previously convicted of shooting at police officers in Indianapolis. He was charged with murder and other charges after murdering Officer Noah. Noah was a Army veteran, had served with the Elwood Police Department for 11 months at 24 years old, and survived by his parents and brothers and sisters. Next, we have Deputy Sheriff 2, Jamie Reynolds, Spalding County Sheriff's Department in Georgia. We don't have his age. His end of watch was July 31st. He was killed when a large pine tree fell onto his patrol car while driving down the highway. The tree crushed the passenger cabin of the vehicle, killing Deputy Reynolds instantly. How tragic. What a weird incident. He had served with the Spalding County Sheriff's Department for 2 years, previously served with the Forest Park Police Department for 25 years, survived by the wife and 2 children. Next, we have Sgt Matthew Fishman, Wayne County Sheriff's Office, North Carolina. His end of watch was August the 2nd at age 38. He was shot and killed while serving involuntary commitment papers. The subject fired at Fishman and 2 other officers. As they arrived about 10:30 a.m., the man barricaded himself until SWAT entered about 8 p.m., found him dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Fishman was transported to the Medical Center, where he died of his wounds the next day. Two other deputies were transported to the medical center and are reported in stable condition. Sgt Fishman has served with Wayne County Sheriff's Office for 12 years, had previously served with Mount Olive Police Department, and is survived by his wife, 2 children, and his father. And then lastly, Special Officer Marisa Manion, District of Columbia Public Library, Office of Public Safety, District of Columbia. Her end of watch was Thursday, August 4th at age 25. She was accidentally shot and killed during baton training inside a training room. Wow. Not a lot of other information here. Several officers were undergoing baton training when the contractor trainer, a retired police officer from another agency, inadvertently shot her during a demonstration about 3:30 in the afternoon. She was transported to the hospital and succumbed to her wounds. We don't know how long she had served with the consortium there, and the trainer was charged with involuntary manslaughter. That's it for roll call this week. Certainly our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to each and every one of these officers' families, their units, and the community that they served in. All of our hearts and thoughts and prayers, certainly a tragedy. Support the Thin Blue Line. I'm Don McDowell.